stunt schoolgirl, 13, gets a secret surprise visit from Meghan Markle along with an invite for the star's royal wedding to Prince Harry. A delighted schoolgirl is the envy of all her friends today after being treated to a surprise visit from Meghan Markle, and receiving an invite to her wedding. Leonora and Kamenzi met Ms. Markle and Prince Harry when they visited the Nottingham Academy on their first engagement in December. And now the 13-year-old will be going to the wedding of the year on May 19 after the bride-to-be personally invited her. Leonora is among the 1,200 ordinary heroes, young leaders and community stalwarts from every corner of the UK invited by Harry and Meghan to Windsor next weekend. The schoolgirl is a member of Full Effect, which is supported by the Royal Foundation. The organization helps deter children and young people from becoming involved in youth violence and crime through mentorship and training. When the couple went to Leonora's school in December, Ms. Markle made a promise to return for a private visit. Ms. Markle honored her promise and returned to the school for a private visit earlier this year and spent some time with Leonora giving her acting tips. Palace officials then contacted Leonora and the school's deputy principal that they have 2 tickets and will be attending the wedding last month. Leonora says she already has her dress ready for the wedding and will be going along with Deputy Principal Helen Falger. Leonora said, "When I found out that I was invited to the wedding, I was speechless. I am so excited. When my mum was told I was invited, she screamed for 5 minutes. Meghan is such an inspiration to me. The first time I met her I asked her if she had any advice for me as I want to be an actress like her. She said I should always be prepared to face rejection but to keep following my dreams. I can't wait to see what she is wearing on the day. I have already bought my dress too." Leonora's proud father added, "I'm very proud of my daughter. This is her highest ever achievement. She is desperate to be an actress and so she was so thrilled to meet Meghan. But we've had to keep our lips sealed on the details as it is so highly classified." The youngster added, "They don't speak to us like they're royalty. They speak to us like we're friends. I'm looking forward to the wedding a lot. I can't wait to see Meghan again." Alongside Leonora at the wedding will be hundreds of other ordinary Britons, including an Afghan war veteran, disabled and homeless charity workers and school teachers. Other lucky members of the public given a golden ticket to watch Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wedding include a schoolgirl who survived the Manchester Arena terror attack, a campaigning amputee and a homeless teenager. In February the couple announced they plan to make their big day a people's wedding by inviting 2,640 members of the public into the grounds of Windsor Castle to view events from a ringside seat. They will also be the first to see the newlyweds start their carriage procession through Windsor after the ceremony as man and wife. Of those guests, 1,200 will be ordinary heroes, young leaders and community stalwarts from every corner of the United Kingdom who have made a difference to the areas where they live, chosen by their local Lord Lieutenant. This week those who had been picked were sent the news that they had been awarded a coveted invitation by email, with at least one almost dismissing it as a belated April Fool, so shocked were they to be picked. The allocation underlines Harry and Meghan's determination that their nuptials on May 19 be as unstuffy as possible, a real people's wedding. The remainder of those outside will include 200 people from a range of charities and organizations which Prince Harry and Miss Markle have a close association with. There will also be 100 pupils from 2 Windsor schools, the Royal School and St. George's School, 610 Windsor Castle community members, and 530 members of the royal households and the Crown Estate. The huge crowd will be gathered in what is known as the castle's lower ward, outside of St. George's Chapel, and will, to the envy of millions around the world, have a first-hand view as the happy couple and their guests arrive. Kensington Palace said, Prince Harry and Ms. Meghan Markle have said they want their wedding day to be shaped so as to allow members of the public to feel part of the celebrations too. This wedding, like all weddings, will be a moment of fun and joy that will reflect the characters and values of the bride and groom. 9 a.m. Members of the public who have been invited to watch the wedding day from the grounds of Windsor Castle begin to arrive. 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Wedding guests arrive at the castle's famous round tower by coach and enter the chapel through the south door and take their seats. 11:20 a.m. Members of the royal family begin to arrive and enter via the Galilee porch, some on foot, others by car. 11:45 am. Possibly around this time Harry and his brother the Duke of Cambridge arrive at the chapel's west steps, probably on foot, walking past the thousands of spectators invited into the grounds of the castle. The moment will give Harry the chance to acknowledge the 200 representatives from charities he is associated with gathered in the horseshoe cloister at the bottom of the steps. 11:55 am to 11:59 am. Following protocol, the Queen will be the last member of the royal family to arrive for the wedding service. 11:59 am. Ms. Markle arrives at the chapel's west steps by car, from her overnight accommodation, with some of her bridesmaids and page boys. She will start her journey, which will take her past some of the crowds in the Long Walk, with her mother Doria Ragland, but when the car stops at the castle her mother will exchange places with bridesmaids and page boys. Ms. Ragland will enter the chapel by the Galilee porch, and at some point Meghan's father Thomas Markle will have arrived at the same entrance and make his way to the west door, where he will meet his daughter before the ceremony begins. 12 p.m. Service starts. 1 p.m. Service ends and the newlyweds emerge at the west steps of the chapel. They will be waved off on their carriage procession through Windsor by members of both families. The congregation will file out of the chapel to see the newlyweds leave before heading to St. George's Hall for the lunchtime reception hosted by the Queen. 1:05 p.m. Possibly around this time the carriage procession through the streets of Windsor begins, taking 25 minutes. 7 p.m. Bride and groom departing Windsor Castle for the evening reception Frogmore House hosted by the Prince of Wales.